General Ibrahim Babangida clears Igbo coup in his new book. He said it was not an Igbo coup. General Yakubu Gowon's failure to secure and protect the lives and properties of the Igbos in the north forced Colonel Chukwuemeka Ojukwu to declare the secession of the eastern region from Nigeria in May 1960. 7. Leading to the fratricidal Nigerian-Biafran civil war. These are the exact words of Ibrahim Babangida. He also went further to write in his book, and I quote, he wrote, "For instance, the head of the plotters, Major Kaduna Nzeogwu, was only Igbo in name. Born and raised in Kaduna, his immigrant parents were from Ogpanam in today's Delta State, which in 1966 was in the old Midwestern region. Nzeogwu spoke fluent Hausa and was as Hausa as any. He and his original team probably thought, even if naively, that they could turn things around for the better in the country. That said, it was heinously callous for Nzeogwu to have murdered Sir Ahmadu Bello and his wife Hafsatu, because not only were they eminently adored by many, but also because they were said not to have put up a fight. From that moment, the putsch was infiltrated by outsiders to its supposed original intention, and it took on an unmistakably ethnic coloration, compounded by the fact that there were no related coup activities in the eastern region. It should, however, be borne in mind that some senior officers of Igbo extraction were also victims of the January coup. For instance, my erstwhile commander at the reconnaissance squadron in Kaduna, Lieutenant Colonel Arthur Chinyelu Unegbi, was brutally gunned down by his own brother, Major Chris Anuforo, in the presence of his pregnant wife, at his 7 Point Road residence in Apapa, for merely being a threat to the revolution as a disciplined and strict officer who, as the Quartermaster General of the Army, was also in charge of ammunition. Weapons, equipment, vehicles, and other vital items for the army, the coup plotters feared that he might not cooperate with them. It should also be remembered that some non-Igbo officers, like Major Adewale Ademoyega, Captain Ganiu Adeleke, LTS Pola Oyewole, and Olafimihan, took part in the failed coup. Another officer of Igbo extraction, Major John Obienu, crushed the coup. Those who argue that the original intention of the coup plotters was anything but ethnic refer to the fact that the initial purpose of the plotters was to release Chief Obafemi Awolowo from prison immediately after the coup and make him the executive provisional president of Nigeria. The fact that these Igbo officers would do this to a man not known to be a great lover of the Igbos may have given the coup a different ethnic coloration. But again, I may be wrong here since this view is speculative. I admit that my position here may be the naive insights of an unsuspecting young officers who viewed events from a distance. Now let's watch the full video clip of many years ago, where Army Colonel Jabuli fearlessly dismantling the lies and claim that the 1966 coup was an Igbo coup, and compare it with Ibrahim Babangida's recent revelation in his book. This is very intense and explosive. Now the question is, why did he hide the truth for so many years, until now that many have died as a result of the lies? Watch the video.
Now, at the time you planned the coup, or you were planning the coup, you knew that if the coup failed, your career in the army is finished.
Fantastic, you are right.
Then
I knew.
Yes. Then why were you complaining that some of your mates were major generals?
You see, the trouble is that
they didn't plan a coup. They were good Nigerians. That's why they became major generals.
A lot of them became major generals because of coups.
Successful
and in fact,
coups.
they promoted themselves. You should have known that. Why are you laughing? You should have known that. They promoted themselves. That's why other countries laugh at us. My Lord, there were various reasons why the coup took place.
Okay.
There were various, in fact, Hydra-headed reasons why the coup took place. Some people enriched themselves and they were killed. Some people were involved in the killings in the West and the TV area, and they were killed. Some people did a lot of other unsavory things. By the way, they talk about killing, and I'm repeating what I said at Enugu. It was never decided that anybody should be killed.
Now, why was
people disagreed on what should happen? I don't know how many coups you've taken part in, but it is never decided this man must be killed, that person will be killed. But you depend on what you see on the ground. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'll go ahead, Mr. Bule.
telling you that the entire country is very happy that you are here.
I've thanked you, yes.
Having participated actively as a planner, as an executor.
I was co-opted.
As probably a prospective beneficiary of the coup of 1966. And in fact, this is not in dispute because even in your book, I am very impressed by the way you summarized it at the epitome, and I would just like to read a portion out of it.
Please do so.
Now, you said as follows, that the coup d'etat of 1966, which has had a fundamental and permanent impact on the political and social life of Nigeria, has generated a good deal of literature. Much, if not all, of such literary output has been based mostly on second-hand accounts and or mere half-truths often colored by prejudice and misguided sentiments. Then you went further to say, in Nigeria's 5 measures, which you wrote, yes, one of the key planners and executors of the coup gives the first ever factual first-hand inside account. Beautiful. Now, I agree with you in respect of this analysis in the sense that you have confessed as a witness of truth, even right here on earth, yes, that you were one of those that plunged this country into the catastrophe we're in right now.
Certainly not.
Listen, witness. Listen, witness.
Sir,
listen, witness. Let me ask you.
Can I say something? I never said any such thing.
Listen to me. Just you've answered in the negative.
The January coup was
listen to me.
As a result of other events.
Will you agree with me that the January 15, 1966 coup had eventually led to the emergence of the Civil War?
No. No. Let's start from the beginning. You must go from the genesis. The genesis is the killings, political killings in Nigeria, both in the West and in the TV area. All right? The killings, then of course, the other Hydra-headed problems Nigeria had caused the coup of January 66.
Yes, I have heard that.
The January 66 attracted the July coup. The July coup attracted the creation of states. The creation of states attracted Biafra. Biafra attracted the war, not the January coup 66.
What I am
that is a conglomeration of events, and you must take them into consideration.
You see, what I want you to understand is one event led to the other.
Beautiful.
Right from the nationalistic days before the independence, yes, in this country.
Yes.
This country had been living in harmony, in peace, and not in pieces.
That is not true.
Wait a minute. Now, are you aware of a book written by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, his autobiography?
I'm not aware of it.
You are not, you have never seen this book?
I have never set eyes on it.
But you know Awolowo, late Awolowo.
Of course I know Awolowo.
Yes, and you are not aware of this book, which touches...
Awolowo is entitled to his opinion. I don't know what you are getting at.
I agree. You will also agree with me that this document, this literature work, which is an exhibit for this court, yes, is also entirely your opinion.
It's partly my opinion and partly my experience.
Yes, that is your opinion.
Partly my opinion, partly my experience.
I am not asking you for the substratum of this book, but I'm telling you it is your own personal opinion. I'm not asking you for the reasons.
I am giving a story the way I saw it. I am not making any judgment.
Now, I will read a portion of this book.
It is not relevant to me.
It will be relevant. You don't even know what I'm saying. You have made up your mind as to what to say. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you something out of this text, and I want you to agree with it or disagree with it. You don't know whether you will even agree with it. Right. It's not everything I say that you disagree with it. Please listen to me. This is a book written by Chief Awolowo before he died about his autobiography. I will later tender the book to the appropriate person, but I want to have the benefit of you listening to what is there so that we can have your opinion.
Let me.
Now, in this book by Chief Obafemi Awolowo at page 172, there is a statement credited to late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, and it goes as follows.
Yes.
Besides, in spite of his protestations to the contrary, Dr. Azikiwe was himself an unabashed Igbo jingoist. And he gave the game completely away when he said, inter alia in his presidential address to the Igbo Federal Union in 1949, as follows. He's quoting from what Zik said in a speech at a lecture. It will appear that the God of Africa has specially created the Igbo nation to lead the children of Africa from the bondage of the ages. The martial prowess of the Igbo nation at all stages of human history has enabled them not only to conquer others, but also to adapt themselves to the role of preserver. The Igbo nation cannot shirk its responsibility. Politically, you have seen with your own eyes how you were disenfranchised by the British. The Igbo nation has never been represented in the Executive Council. Economically, the Igbo nation has labored under onerous taxation measures without sufficient social amenities to justify same. We have been taxed without representation, and our contributions in taxes have been used to develop other areas out of proportion to the incidence of taxation in those areas. It will seem that the Igbo nation is becoming a victim of economic annihilation through a gradual but studied process. This was a quotation, and then Awolowo himself went further to say as follows. In 1948, another Igbo leader and a member of the Nigerian Legislative Council had declared the domination of Nigeria by the Igbos is a question of time. It was clear from these statements and from general political and journalistic maneuvers of Dr. Azikiwe over the years that his great objective was to set himself up as a dictator over Nigeria and to make the Igbo nation the master race. It will appear, according to his reckoning, that the only obstacle in the path of his ambition was the Yoruba intelligentsia, and this must be removed at all costs. A situation in which one ethnic group will dominate the others does not accord with my conception of a united and happy Nigeria.
Thank you.
I am implacably opposed to dictatorship, as well as the doctrine of Herrenvolk, whether it was Hitler's or that of Azikwe's. Now, from this text I read out,
yes,
will you agree with me that that grand design had been there ever since?
So what you
Before,
are trying,
I didn't write it.
I should agree that Zik said that. What Awolowo quoted.
Well,
and
I am
you know
asking,
that this is Awolowo that booted Zik out of the
I didn't write
house.
it. I didn't write it.
And you are saying
And you didn't
I should
write
agree.
it. I am asking you, what is your opinion? Just
Your
answer.
opinion, I mean, the question shouldn't have arisen.
Are you
before.
in a position to say
The
this?
question is, and this is not for you because I can't ask you questions.
US President Trump calls for Ukraine to hold new elections.
Is Zik
That's not a...
or was Zik, before his death, a true Nigerian or a tribalist? Of course not.
Listen,
but Awolowo
listen,
would like
listen. That is not the issue.
Awolowo would like
We
to
all
paint
have...
Zik as a tribalist. So it is
Listen,
in bad taste.
we all have our respect
Awolowo
for Zik. We all have our reverence for Zik. That is not the
and
issue.
you know that Awolowo has never seen eye to eye with Zik.
Please, listen. You are to answer my questions,
You are
not to
asking
ask
me
me
to support
questions.
Awolowo against Zik.
You are asking me questions.
I will do no such thing. And I even doubt that Awolowo wrote it.
Now, come. Now, look. I want you to reconcile your last statement when you asked me whether I wanted you to support Awolowo against Zik. Why then did you tell us this afternoon,
Yes.
just some few minutes ago,
Yes.
when you were being asked by the other council,
I will answer it.
that the major object of that coup was to appoint Awolowo as the president of
Beautiful.
Prime Minister. Yes, Prime
To
Minister.
appoint him.
Yes.
That is
Now,
it. Please,
can
I
you
want
answer
to
that?
answer this
Yes,
question
I'm listening.
because there are too many things at issue here. Now, Awolowo was to be appointed to lead a government. That is why I said, therefore, it must be the Yorubas who are using us. Read my book. Therefore, the Yorubas were using us. And you read what Onwatogu said in answer to that. Read it.
Look.
I want you to be...
Look. Yes, madam.
Attention, I ask
how can
everybody to have this.
Yes, madam.
In view of number one, how does this affect your own client, so that we can make progress. You can tender all the things they said and then address us on them. No, number one of the agreement reached after your submissions in the morning, if you want, I read it to you again. Representation by counsel. Commission accepts that under Section 18 of the Tribunals of Inquiry Act, anybody mentioned in a petition has a right to representation by counsel. The only question that will arise is that such counsel should restrict himself, not itself, only to issues affecting his client, either in his response or in cross-examination. If we are going to throw this overboard, then we open the door wide. And I've told counsel before that there's certain things called, notorious facts.
My Lord, yes, my Lord, inasmuch as
no
I'm trying to wind up
all this.
Yes.
You can go on for 20 days. We go on, listen.
No, my Lord, I have been on for just about 30 minutes. In the next 30 minutes, I'll be through. I don't need more than an hour to be through with this witness. Yes, witness. You are aware that there are different commissions in the Nigerian Army. Different types of commission. We have the regular combatant commission.
You can't tell me.
You are aware more than me. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, I know more than you.
Yeah, you know that more than me. I agreed. I concede to that.
I am aware.
Yes, you have about 4. Now, you will agree with me that Ojukwu was initially not a regular combatant commission. He was converted.
He was
service.
He was direct short service
commission. Agreed.
Direct short service, because
I agreed.
he came from the university.
I agree. You've answered it. You've answered it. Now the same thing goes to late General Jet.
Sir.
Yeah, the same question goes to General Ironsi. He was also not.
He was not.
He was not.
Short service. He was just short service commission.
Agreed, but not a regular combatant.
Of course, he
was. Of course,
regular.
yes. Now, but what about General Gawan?
He was regular, just as I was.
Agreed. Now, do you know why Ojukwu refused to succumb to the...
Ojukwu said he was senior to Gawan.
Yes. Will you agree to that?
Why shouldn't I agree? But you see...
Despite the fact...
I said, why shouldn't I agree? But the point is not whether Gawan was... I'm sorry. Whether Ojukwu was senior to Gawan or not. Once there is a coup, even if he's a lieutenant taking over government, you don't start confronting the lieutenant, you get killed. So that is where I disagree with Ojukwu, and he knows.
In terms of seniority, I put it to you that Gawan was senior to him by virtue of the fact that he was a regular combatant army officer.
You don't do seniority that way.
It's okay, I've heard you.
It is not the way seniority is done.
I have heard you.
If Ojukwu was a colonel when Gawan was a lieutenant, Gawan could climb up and reach Ojukwu's rank.
Do you remember?
But still became inferior.
I have heard you. Let's make progress. Do you remember Colonel Adebayo's committee?
Which Adebayo's committee? I know Adebayo of the former chief of staff.
Yes, there was a committee headed by him after the coup.
Oh, after the coup?
After the civil war, yes, after the civil war.
Not after the coup,
yes.
after the civil war.
Yes.
Okay. I attended that board.
Yeah,
yes.
You appeared before him?
Oh, yes, of course.
You remember the sanctions? You remember the report? Anything? Do you remember any part of the report?
I was thrown into jail again. You said so.
What was the recommendation in respect to your person by that committee?
To be detained.
Apart from that, what about your rank?
I didn't know about the rank, but Nigeria published what they call Nigeria 1966 with regard to events of both the war and the coup. And I was said to have been sacked. But only lately, the head of state, the present head of state, made statement to the effect that all dismissals will be converted to retirement. And we are expecting for this thing to be clarified. So until that is done by the army headquarters, I don't think we should say anything about it.
It's all right. I have heard you. Now, General, that takes me to the
final
issue on your book. Now, you see, there is this controversy which goes around whether or not that January 15, 1966 coup can be referred to an entire Igbo affair or an Igbo coup.
It is not an Igbo affair.
I agreed. I have not asked you the question.
You know it's not.
Yes. I know naturally you will say it's not an Igbo coup. Now, but I want to ask you a few questions.
Please,
see whether you will
feel
agree
free,
with me.
please.
You see, in this your book,
Yes.
you wrote about the 5 majors.
Yes.
And of all the 5 majors,
Yes.
only one was not an Igbo.
Beautiful. You are right.
Okay.
You are very right.
Yes. And the one who was not an Igbo is, what do you call his name? General Ademoyega. Adewale
He was
Ademoyega.
never a general.
Yeah. Major.
Thank you.
Yes. Adewale Ademoyega.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, while you were giving evidence before this commission, while it was sitting in Enugu, you told this honorable commission that Major Abisoye is a typical Yoruba man. You said so. I have the cassette. It's here. You said Yoruba man.
Well,
I want to put
only because he typifies Yoruba people.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
I want
okay.
to put it to you that he is not Yoruba. He is Ogori in Magongo in Kogi State.
Okay.
Do you agree? Do you withdraw that statement?
If
Probably
that-
you said it out of ignorance.
based on information,
Yes.
I am wrong. If you are correct,
Yes. That's what I'm telling you. I made a research.
because
on
you
it.
see, he was my
It's all right.
classmate.
It's all right.
He went to Keshi,
Now-
and we assumed that he was a
Okay.
Yoruba man. And I'm happy that he
For-
was the one who wrote forward to the book, Ademoyega's book.
Listen, having agreed, listen, witness, having agreed
Yes.
that 4 out of the 5 leaders of that coup plot
Yes.
were Igbos.
Yes. It is correct.
Yes. Will you agree with me that and having agreed also in your papers, in
Yes.
the exhibit submitted by Ohaneze,
Yes.
that we have about over 400 nationalities
I
in
agree
Nigeria,
with you. Yes, yes.
which I understand that to mean tribes and different dialects in this country.
Yes.
Will you agree with me that 80% of the leaders of that coup were Igbos?
Even if it's 85,
Agreed.
it's not an Igbo coup.
And you still don't call it an Igbo coup?
Of course it isn't.
Now-
Because Ademoyega claimed that there were only 3 who planned the whole thing.
Yes.
We were co-opted.
Listen.
I hope you
Listen.
understand. We were co-opted.
Listen, having agreed to that, and you will recall that the coup took place in Kaduna, in the north, being the headquarters of Northern Region, in Ibadan, being the headquarters.
You are very right.
Yes, and in Lagos as well, but not at Enugu or in any part
It
of the
took
east.
place at Enugu and in the Midwest.
I'm not
But they
referring-
were not effective.
I'm not referring to the coup. I'm referring to the coup, not civil war, not the
The
other.
coup took place at Enugu. And I told you that Jallo took over the radio station, didn't I?
Were there killings?
We agreed.
Were there killings of
I
any?
told you that there was no question of definitive agreement on killings. I told you.
Now I put it. Yes.
Trained at this juncture to interrupt the cross-examination.
Why?
Well, because he's violating council agreed this morning. If I'm
I've shown them the agreement. They want to go on. Let them go on. Let's make progress.
all right, my lord, if it pleases your lordship.
He hasn't finished.
My lord,
Let him finish. Then
it will assist the commission because this way we will be.
I will tell him.
Otherwise, I will pray, my lord, to now abrogate the accord we have reached this morning, because my lord has already accepted, and we all abide by it. Each council should cross-examine on points touching on affecting its client. This way we are going around.
An SAN, you know.
I'm addressing the commission. I'm not addressing the SN. The
I don't
commission-
know whether junior council can advise an SAN.
No, my lord. I am addressing the commission so that the commission can intervene. My lord.
Yes. Thank you, my lord, for the. My lord, thank you for the protection. I will consider he has the right to talk, but my lord, I would like your lordship to recall, to remember, one of the aims of cross-examination is to as much. It's all
The
right. Let
book
me
on
proceed.
cross-examination.
It's all right. It's all
You
right.
can't tell me about the aims. I
It's
know
all right.
all the
It's
aims.
all right, my lord. Now, witness, are you attentive?
I am very attentive.
Now, the major reason why you are here with this petition is that you are alleging that the Igbo race is being marginalized. Yes, it's being marginalized. And based upon that allegation, you're asking for a lot of money. Yes, it's been marginalized.
Submitted
yes.
a petition.
Yes, on behalf of...
On behalf of people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I was specifically given the assignment to show that the coup of January 66
Agreed.
And you do not want to go on there.
I agree.
Let us clear it first and foremost. Then you can handle the others.
That is an arrangement between you and Ohaneze, not with me or with the commission. Since you are here, I consider you a competent witness to answer my questions. All that I'm asking you is this. Now, can you give us an hypothetical situation where you can say the Igbos are not marginalized? What do you want? What exactly do you want? Yes. What exactly do you want?
Let me tell you what I want.
Yes.
And I believe that Ohaneze wants it. And my Lord, I thank my questioner for asking me this question. What I want in this country is for the return of merit. If we do everything on merit, there will be no problem. Every state, every ethnic group will gain merit, not on anything on basis of tribe, not on basis of where you come from. And in this country today, you know that certain people are full-blown generals because of where they come from.
I have heard you.
Even a state.
I have heard you, but you see,
let me finish.
What you are saying.
Even a state.
Listen, what you are saying. Do you agree with me that that is subjective? Do you agree that what you are saying is subjective?
Even some people answer born to rule state, and this is not good for Nigeria.
It's okay.
Not
good
for
now,
development.
I put it to you that having failed to secure political domination through the coup, your attempts were made to succeed.
You see, the interesting thing is that our coup of January 66 was not actually meant to secure any political domination. It was never, ever. Ironsi was commanding the army. He was to be killed.
Listen, witness. I'm not asking you for stories. Listen, I'm not asking you for stories. You referred us to another coup which you called a coup in July in 1966. Didn't you?
Of course I did.
Now, you will agree with me that at a point in time, there was no governance in this country for a period of 3 days in that July 1966?
Beautiful, because
will you
the motive July coup cost it.
Listen, can you properly call that a coup? Was that not a reaction to refusal?
You mean that the coup of July 66 was not a coup?
Was it actually? It was a reaction.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
It was strictly a reaction.
And people were killed in large numbers. And you said it's not a coup.
That was a reaction. That was a reaction to antecedents.
My Lord, what is a coup?
With respect, my Lord, may I respectfully refer to the ruling just read to us. Paragraph 1. Representation by counsel. Commission accepts that under Section 18 of the Tribunals of Inquiry Act, anybody mentioned in a petition has a right to representation by counsel. The only question that arises is that such counsel should restrict itself only to issues affecting his client, either in his response or cross-examination. Gowan and Yusuf never seceded, and I'm sure Haneza never accused Gowan or Alhaji Yusuf of secession. So these exchanges between counsel and the witness is just prolonging this matter, and we have to restrict.
Thank you for helping me. Yes. Junior counsel had already mentioned it. Counsel representing the Port Harcourt State government. Jokingly, I interjected, does the junior counsel advise at SAN? The hint wasn't even taken. Rather, I was challenged about the limits of cross-examination. I said, I've written a book on it. And maybe I read a portion of what I read there. Although there is definitely more latitude allowed in cross-examination, yet, listen now, I'm reading, you would challenge me, and you're not even listening. Although there is definitely more latitude allowed in cross-examination, yet still, questions in cross-examination should bear some relationship with the material facts which are in dispute in the case. Cross-examination is not allowed to roam at large over every subject under the sun. The only exception to this rule is cross-examination to credit. Now, if that is what you're doing, it's all right, I'll allow you. But having regard to one here, if we want to save time, otherwise somebody can cross-examine for a week. If we had all the time in the world, I'll leave you. But we haven't got all the time in the world. So thank you both for helping me.
In fact, I would have been through by now. So you told us lastly that there was no plan to kill.
Even in my book, I did say there was a division on the matter.
Now listen, I have not landed.
Okay,
how do you reconcile that with the fact that Ironsi was to be killed? You said so just now. Can you reconcile
again
this?
If I said so, it is part of the slip of the tongue. He was a target. But the question of killing.
Thank you for that.
But that does not mean.
It's okay. Thank you for that.
Maybe it was in the context.
I am okay. You are to answer my questions.
He was alerted.
That's all for this witness, Mula.
Any questions from someone else? Any other questions? You want to ask again? I thought you. Oh, no, you haven't. It's sorry.
You just contributed.
Good afternoon, Captain. I have just a few questions regarding my clients. In the process, there are certain aspects for which I may require clarification. They may appear to stray, but it's for the purpose of being educated. What is an Igbo race? What is an Igbo? What is an Igbo? Who are Igbos?
Igbos are people of a particular ethnic group who speak the language, whose state of origin are those of the Igbo area. And I can name them if you want.
Could you have a look at Exhibit 8, page Roman 8? Bottom left. Can you read that? Oh, I can read it for you for speed, actually. You said in this book, the word Igbo is used to refer to the people of Anambra and Imo states of Nigeria rather than its incorrect Igbo. I am right, yes?
The book was published in 81, excuse me. There were,
okay.
The other states had not been.
I agree, sir.
Okay. The word Igbo.
I'm coming. I have not finished.
Okay.
Because then in your new book from the bookshop outside, the same page 8, Roman 8, in this book the word Igbo is used to refer to the people of Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo states of Nigeria rather than its incorrect form Igbo, right?
You are correct.
Where from is Nzegu? Is he an Igbo or not?
He is an Igbo.
He is on the cover.
He is an Igbo, I-G-B-O. We call it Igbo. But the Englishman says I-B-O.
Okay, what is Major Nzegu? What was he?
There is no Major Nzegu.
What was this gentleman?
Okay, Nzogu.
What was his ethnic?
He's from Opanam. He's an Igbo man.
He is an Igbo man.
He's an Igbo man.
From which state?
From Opanam, Delta.
From which state?
Igbo-speaking area of Delta.
Okay, so
Igbo-speaking area of Delta.
So do you stand corrected that there are Igbos outside these two
yes, of
states?
course. There are even Igbos in diaspora.
Okay, are these insufficient, too insignificant to be named?
No, it's a question of time and convenience.
I now understand your understanding. So, page 1 of your book, Exhibit 8.
Yes.
You have on the opposite side the pictures of Officer Cadet Wing of the NMTC Course 1. That was your course, March to October 1980.
You are very right.
Yes, mind you, I'm trying to see that we leave here better than we came. Since you are possessed of it, could you please hand him Exhibit 8? That particular page. Sorry for the delay, my lord. How many people are there? 16.
Yes. The 16th name is from Cameroon. That is Chiabi.
Of the 15, how many would you say are from your understanding of the then North?
I think there are 5. Just a minute. Let me be correct about this. I think there are, 2 from the East, 3 from the West, 1 from the Lagos, and the rest from the North.
How many?
I think it should be 10 then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
They're in the lower row,
9,
so they're not in the first row.
It's either 9 or 10.
Can you name the 9 or 10?
Okay, let me name them here because they are written there. Obemudia. Obemudia, I'm sorry. I'm awfully sorry. I got it all wrong. Okay. Danjuma, Abisoye, Obeya,
Apollo.
That's third. Alabi, Apollo, Adamu. Please, could.
And Bami Boye, but.
Oh, Bami Boye too, yes.
You have got 5 out of 15.
It's not 5. Just a minute. Adamu, Bami Boye, Apollo, Alabi. Obeya.
Is Alabi from the North?
Of course, he claimed he was a northerner.
Go on.
He claimed it.
Yes, go on, yes.
In fact, the trouble with Alabi is that he claimed anything, anytime.
Okay, so we accept.
I haven't finished.
He is a Nigerian. This exercise is for the fact-finding for a better Nigeria.
Yes.
So, do you see 6 out of 16 as an unfair proportion relative to Nigeria, or do you see from those names any of them that ought not to have been there?
I do not quarrel with those who were sent abroad. Do you allow me? Please allow me to expatiate.
No, that was just a course.
must expatiate.
That was only a course.
I wrote about certain people who were there, but who, for instance, Adamu was for the Navy.
Okay, these are okay.
But he failed the course.
These are
they transferred him to the Army.
These are a fair representation, right?
Say that again.
These are not an unfair representation. They are a fair representation.
I have never talked about unfair representation in respect of the numbers that were sent abroad. I talked about individuals. For instance, somebody was in the course.
Wait, sir, understand. I know you know more than I do. You can anticipate, but
you don't want to listen.
I have noted that. But Officer Cadet Wing, NMTC Kaduna, not those who went to Sandhurst or UK. So I'm only talking of NMTC Kaduna.
It is from this list. In fact, it's not all the officers. These are the people who passed to go abroad.
So the 6 are a fair representation of the North.
More than fair.
They are an unfair representation of the North.
I said more than fair because of merit. And you see,
okay, so some of them
there
did
were
not
white
merit it.
men then, and they wanted merit. But some people tried to change it.
Yes, so I wanted to clear that and proceed. I'm trying to understand because it is, I'm trying to stick within the rules, but I want to understand your state of mind in that respect.
Thank you.
So look at page 6 of your paper.
Yes.
Of your book.
Yes. Page 6, yes?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines from the end of
Page 6.
before second, before number 2.
Before number 2, what?
Yes, well, because I am working on the basis of the of Exhibit 8. On page 6, there is...
Is it the one that starts with thuggery?
That page starts with the Hamatan.
No, it has nothing to do with page 6 here.
The page 6 starts with the word the Hamatan. I'm dealing with Exhibit 8.
Okay, the beginning, all right. The beginning is the Hamatan had clearly set in, yes.
Okay, so if you go down, you will find where you said, suddenly, I saw the whole picture clearly.
Yes.
A coup d'etat was in the offing.
Yes.
And I was being obliquely asked to play a part in it.
Beautiful.
That was your discussion with Ngobosi.
Yes.
At the railway station. Kaduna.
Yes, he put it obliquely, yes.
Look at page 7 of the same exhibit.
Yes, I have it.
It was your view that politicians appeared to be above the law using the military.
That's right. Especially in the West and the TV area. And in the rigging of elections.
Good. Can I put it to you that what brought about the January coup was the confusion in which the NCNC found itself with a weak alliance with a part of the West, and therefore it felt doomed, and therefore used you to pursue the cause of the coup d'etat.
You cannot be any further from the truth.
Because you were used rather than the northern officers being
We
used.
were not used. All of us who took part in the coup had our own minds. We were not used by anybody. That is why I took responsibility for my action.
Then, sir, why is your rendition largely founded on rumors?
Sometimes there were rumors. Rumors were flying about here and there.
You are...
Especially in 1965.
Okay, I will go to page 37 of the exhibit, if I were you. Please go there.
I have it here.
On that page, you had a feeling at that stage that you are prepared to slash the throat of the Sardauna rather than shave his beard, allegedly told to you by your girlfriend Sue when you picked her up at FTC. And you said you would rather slit the throat of the Premier.
Could you please read out that portion?
Yes, sir. Like I say, you go to page 37.
Yes, read it out, please. Please.
Page 37.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
From top.
Read the seventh from the 7th line.
Okay, just a minute. 1, 2.
From the word I laughed again.
Okay, sorry. Is it from the bottom or from the top?
From the top.
Okay, from the top. Line 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. The quotation from the top, line 7, says, "You mean to set things right?" Someone demanded.
No, sir. What I have on your exhibit 38 starts with the word I laughed again.
It is not here that
well,
way.
This is what you presented in Enugu.
I never presented that. I presented this.
Chapter 10.
Chapter 10?
Well, you make some numberings on the side.
It's your fault, not mine.
Yes. Sorry, okay, page 38, I'm sorry.
Is it 38? Where is it?
Line 7 from the top.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You can read that in your mind, no problem.
Okay. I laughed again, then stated that if I had been the deposed emir of Kano, I would not have wasted my time shaving off the Sadana's beard. I would certainly have slashed his throat and left him to die. I was probably not joking that time. Now, this was at Kaduna.
I asked you to read. I have not asked you a question, sir.
Okay.
The ordinary meaning, an ordinary person with basic understanding of English would be, he would certainly have slashed the throat of the premier and left him to die, and you were probably not joking at the material time. Was that a responsible publication? I am not being accusative. I'm just making a
I'm
statement.
even trying to find the circumstances in which this was said.
You went to sue at the FTC to pick up for the night or something.
And somebody said,
she said
okay.
So she said she had some stories, some rumors.
All right.
On the premier. And then you laughed and said, well, I would have killed the man and left him to die. And I was not joking. That was between 10th and 12th of November 1960s.
That shows you the gravity of my feelings at that time.
You would
that was 30-something years ago.
Yes. So 30-something years ago, you were prepared to murder him as a 10th.
No, you don't understand. He was said to have been shaven by somebody.
Yes. And then you said you would have done worse.
And it's in the circumstance that I made that remark.
You would have done worse than that, you said. And you are not joking. Next, sir, you go to the same page 38.
Yes.
In respect of page 39 this time.
All right.
Fourth paragraph.
Fourth paragraph.
Which starts with the word continuing.
Yes. Continuing, he said something about some arms and ammunition having been smuggled into the country through the northern border, solely for the purpose of prosecuting the said jihad. Do I start?
Go on, yes.
Okay. Then, by way of buttressing this rumor, he further hinted that the brigade camp RSM, Ambrose Chukwu, had lately been arrested and imprisoned on the orders of the brigade commander, Brigadier S.L. Ademolegu.
Good, sir. Go to page 40.
Page 40. Yes.
Second paragraph.
As it turned out, is it?
Yes.
As it turned out, not only was I able to verify the story, the camp RSM, this is the
Go on.
The camp RSM was eventually found.
I also learned. Mm-hmm.
No, I want to.
Just I said read that paragraph.
Okay, I also learned that through the grapevine that some Arab soldiers in Mufti were already infiltrating into the country on the invitation of the Northern Regional Premier.
Go on.
You want me to continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The jihad many an officer feared was soon to become a military fact.
Go on.
And their fears could not be dismissed out of hand as completely groundless, especially when viewed in the light of the many secret nocturnal meetings held at the Premier's residence at Ngwashino, meetings which the names Ademolegu, Akintola, Maimalare, Ahmad Bello Ahmad Bello had long been closely associated.
So the Arab story you heard from the grapevine.
Yes.
Go to the paragraph which starts with indeed.
Indeed, many officers feared the worst, more so as the news of the latest postings of some of our top commanders reached us from Lagos. The GOC, General Aguironsi, and Igbo was to go on indefinite leave at the behest of the Defense Ministry. Lieutenant Colonel Hilary Njoko, another Igbo, was to relinquish the command of the 2nd Battalion, based at Ikeja near Lagos, to Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gawan, a northerner from Pangshin, and proceed to Kaduna to take over the command of NMTC. It was evident that by this arrangement, the southern command of the Nigerian army was to fall almost entirely into the hands of the NPC. What with Brigadier Zach Mamalari, a northerner, commanding the Lagos-based 2nd Brigade, Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gawan, presiding over the said 2nd Battalion at Ikeja, and Lieutenant Colonel Lajima, also a northerner, commanding the Ibadan-based battalion.
If you can stop there, what was the source of this information?
Everybody heard about it.
I didn't. Maybe I was in.
You couldn't. You weren't born.
Yeah, so I was trying to understand. No, I was born.
Everybody heard about it.
Of this event.
Even it's chronicled in the book you are holding there.
So that is not a rumor. That was not a grapevine for a change.
I said I had it from the grapevine.
Good.
But now it's been confirmed.
By you?
No, from the write-ups I have seen.
Go to page 43.
43. Yes.
First, second, third paragraph. Halfway there is a sentence that started with, "This had led to a national political deadlock."
First paragraph is a candid person. A candid person starts it. First paragraph.
Yes, third paragraph.
Oh, third.
According to him, then go to the fourth line.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. This had led to a national political deadlock, which in turn had caused the president to exercise the emergency powers vested in him by the Nigerian Constitution. In retaliation, the incumbent Prime Minister, Sir Abubakar, had been quick to contest the powers thus exercised. He summoned a conference of the service chiefs with a view likely to removing the president from office by force of arms.
What is your source of that information? Was it that common knowledge or published or official thing?
It was common knowledge. And let me add that...
What was your source? From where did you learn it? Because you are tied to this. I think you are a lawyer.
Let me add.
You are tied to the statement, so the issue is the source, because grave statements of this nature, important statements.
Can I add now?
Need to be
clarify
sourced.
this.
Yes, the authority.
There were meetings at the 1 Brigade, which I actually, wrote about in this book. Meetings in which some officers were campaigning for the Prime Minister.
Did the Prime Minister call service chiefs with the intention to removing the president by force?
Listen, we listened to the radio at the time.
You heard it on the radio.
Both the radio and other means of communication.
Go to page 56.
5.
We are moving in time so that one understands. Page 56.
Yes, 53.
First, second, third paragraph, starting with Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Pam.
First paragraph?
Third.
Oh, third paragraph. Okay. Third paragraph, 1, 2, 3. Major General Thompson Agui Ironsi is the third paragraph here.
Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Pam, go on. Read it.
I said that the paragraph starts with Major General Johnson Omonakwe Agui Ironsi. Was the general officer commanding the Nigerian Army.
Page 56.
53. Okay. All right. 56.
Yes.
Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Pam, trained at Sandhurst and Camberley Staff College, was the Adjutant General at the AHQ. Following the OP Adam 3. This is...
read.
the TV Internal Security Operations, which he and Brigadier Ademologo had teleguided from Kaduna. He had become quite notorious. He was said to have been instrumental in repressing the on-the-spot commander of the operations, Major Chris Anuforo.
Is that why they say Major Anuforo murdered Yakubu Pam?
I don't know who murdered Yakubu Pam.
Proceed, continue to read it.
All right. After the letter had refused to release some pro-NNA politicians caught with sizable caches of illegal arms and ammunition. Besides, it was rumored that his ultra-modern story house at Kaduna was a gift from the NPC politicians who had gained by his friendship.
What is the basis of that rumor or your source?
I said it was rumored. I mean,
it was a rumor.
Let me explain. I talked about rumor. Let me explain.
I understand the meaning of rumor.
I wrote this book inside Kirikiri, and I asked questions. So because I could not substantiate any of those things I wrote, I said it was rumored.
I put it to you, sir, that after these 15 rumors, your rendition is completely found on a foundation of rumors, because you have counted over 20 rumors in a book that is to be permanently there.
Beautiful.
And when you talk of a two-story building rumored, I presume you know the house in Kaduna which was built, the multiple story.
I was inside Kirikiri when I wrote this.
Are you still there in Kirikiri?
What 35
years later. So
I was released from Kirikiri in 1974.
You were released a generation ago. Thereafter, you are said to have reviewed the book.
You are very right.
The story,
did
you verify it as a result of that review?
Nobody opposed, nobody wrote a rebuttal, nobody opposed this, except May Nasara. Nobody else wrote a rebuttal on this. So I assume the rumor was a correct rumor.
And it was not necessary for you to cross-check the rumor at the end of esprit de corps known in the armed forces. I put it to you that it was a bungalow
esprit de corps,
which you destroyed.
You said esprit de corps?
Yes, for the sake
people who have gone to war.
Even of the dead, you had a duty of esprit de corps.
Esprit de corps for people who have gone to war on both sides?
Esprit de corps in respect of a person you murdered.
I did not murder Yakubu Pam.
I am going into the introduction to cover the executive authority of my clients. Therefore, the background of your book is based on substantial rumors so that one can understand how to build on it.
I'm happy you are using the word substantial rumor. That is a matter of your value judgment.
So in the circumstance, did you consider, repeat it if you like, if you don't know, did you consider that action you did justified at the time?
Which action?
The January 15th coup.
January 15th coup was not just justified, it was acclaimed in Nigeria.
My Lord,
after the country had been set ablaze by the politicians.
My Lord, I seek to tender No Place to Hide, Crisis and Conflicts Inside Biafra by Bernard Odogu.
Fair enough.
In cross-examination, the witness, not just tendering document, confronting with that document.
Yes,
what portion of it are you confronting him? What did he say that you want to confront him with?
On 15.
Hold it, then you have laid a foundation.
My Lord,
then you can
yes,
tender.
Indeed, my Lord, the foundation has been laid that the 15th January
anything,
was reasonable.
It's all right.
I'm very much guided, my Lord. You accept that at the time it was reasonable for you to have embarked on that coup.
56.
Of January 66.
Reasonable.
It was justified.
It was imperative.
It was imperative. Did you not consider it imperative that there would be a backlash?
Of course, if we failed, I said it in the book. 56. If we failed, we would render it as Exhibit 56.
Yes, my
After
Lord.
marking, then you can use it.
Yes, my Lord. I am guided, my Lord.
If we failed, we will be shot. If we failed, we knew the implications of a coup. And many people have been shot in this country anyway.
What would have been the implications in your mind had you failed?
It's even written here. If we failed, we would be tried and shot. The unfortunate thing is that we were not tried and shot by either Ironsi or Gawan.
What would have been the reasons for that failure?
Say it again.
Give me one reason why the coup could have failed. There are many reasons.
Because Ironsi got away. It was Ironsi that actually quelled our coup. Ironsi and Igbo quelled that coup.
I want you to look at page 212 of Exhibit 56, third paragraph. Start reading that portion by Bernard Odogu.
I'm not Bernard Odogu. I can't read.
No.
I cannot read what he wrote.
Then,
I'm awfully sorry. That is your opinion. I don't.
I stand to be protected, my lord. Can I ask him to read that portion, having laid foundation of the reasons, or do I read it out?
How am I sure this is Bernard Odogu's
No,
book?
you are not Bernard. I'm asking you to read.
The book doesn't look like this. You can concoct something and say it's Bernard Odogu.
I'm sorry, my lord. Read page 212 of...
I will not read Bernard Odogu's book.
I thought you
It's
are
simple.
denying its authenticity.
Well, I've given you benefit of doubt now.
My lord,
read it yourself.
We are going to construct. This is... give him... No problem. Give him the exhibit to follow, then I will read. We are here to construct, not to destroy.
Thank you. Where is
the
it?
third paragraph on page 212.
Where is it?
The coup did not affect two other regions. Bana Edogo, the DMI, by the way, of Biafra. The East and the Midwest, so there were no casualties. Of course, with that set of affairs, given the sectional background of our political orientation and awareness, it was easier to predict that what would happen next, despite the apparent joyful enthusiasm of the masses in welcoming the new order. In fact, a northern colleague and personal friend of mine, Adamu Mohammed, and I had a very frank talk on the coup, and we were both in agreement that the so-called revolutionaries had performed very badly in view of the one-sidedness of the operation and the selectiveness of the killings. After my discussions with Mohammed, I made the following notes in my notebook appraising the situation. 23rd January 66. He said, with all the returns in, we now seem to have a complete picture of the coup, the plotters and the casualties. Reading through the newspapers, one gets the impression that this national catastrophe, which is termed a revolution, is being blown greatly out of proportion. It does appear to me that, though that we have all gone wild with jubilation in welcoming the so-called dawn of a new era without pausing to consider the possible chain reactions that may soon follow. Looking again at the list of the victims of that bloody affair, I do not agree with the comment of my colleague Mohammed. I do agree with the comment of my colleague Mohammed that it could have passed for a grand national honors list. And coming to think of it, I shudder at the possible aftermath of this folly committed by our boys in khaki. And what has kept coming to my mind since then, since the afternoon on, is the passage in Shakespeare's Macbeth, and they say, blood will have blood. First, I ask myself this question, I'm about to finish. What will be the position as soon as the present mass euphoria in welcoming the revolution in the country fades away? There is already some rumor here within diplomatic circles that January 15th was a grand Igbo design to liquidate all opposition in order to make way for Igbo domination of the whole country. What then is the Igbo man's defense to this allegation in the light of the sectional and selective method adopted by the coup plotters? That's his diary. Although, sitting here alone as I write this, I'm tempted to say that there was no such Igbo design. Yet the inescapable fact is that Igbos are already, as a group, being condemned by the rest for the activities of a handful of ambitious Igbo army officers.
Thank you.
Igbo army officers, ambitious Igbo army officers.
Including Ademoyega.
Ambitious Igbo army officers who were 4 of the 5 majors or whatever proportion. For here I am with the rest of my Igbo colleagues, some thousands of miles away from home, yet being put on the defensive for such actions that we were neither consulted about nor approved of. Our northern colleagues and friends now look us as Igbos here as strangers and potential enemies. Then I asked myself the question posed to me this afternoon by my colleague. What would I do if I were placed in the position of the northerner? What do I do? How do I react to the situation? Do I just deplore and condemn those atrocities, or do I plan a revenge? I do not blame the northern chaps for feeling so sore since the events of the last few days. They definitely have my sympathy, for it must have been shocking, to say the least, for one to wake up one fine morning to find nearly all one's revered leaders gone overnight. But they were not only northern leaders as such, and I am as much aggrieved at their loss as any other Nigerian, northern or otherwise. I am particularly shocked at the news that Major Efejuna personally shot and killed his mentor, Brigadier Memalari. My God. That must have been Caesar and Brutus come alive, with the brigadier definitely saying, "Etu Emma," before collapsing. Or Major Anuforo, Colonel Pam saying, "Etu Anuforo," before collapsing. Would you consider Odogu's diary story reasonable in the circumstances?
Thank you very much for what you read. The import of what you've just read is the fact that the coup was not an Igbo coup. It was not an Igbo plot. If you read it again, read it properly.
It was an ambitious...
Somebody abroad.
Listen. I asked for yes. The answer is yes or no. They said what I read was an ambitious Igbo military.
That is his own view. That is his own view.
Would you consider...
Based on the information available to him, that's what he said.
The question, sir, would you consider the rendition reasonable or not?
This writer...
Yes. No, it is
this
not.
This writer
yes,
is saying it is not an Igbo plot. And there is no denying it. If you read it again, better read it properly.
It was an Igbo...
And even in the case of ambitious Igbo, whatever
military,
he calls them,
no, whatever.
He
I
did
used
not
words.
mention people of...
I said ambitious Igbo military officers coup, not whatever. Those are the words. So stick to that.
Based on the information available to him.
Yes, so...
And you can now see from what is written, those who gave him the information.
Were you ambitious?
He was reacting...
Were you ambitious, sir?
Every human being without an ambition is not a good human being.
So his statement then would be reasonable.
Even he was ambitious. You are ambitious. Everybody's ambitious.
His statement then would be reasonable, yes or no? It's not reasonable.
His judgment is warped because he was making his judgment based on the facts available to him.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take for now. Captain Ben Bully passed on Sunday, 23rd January 2022, was laid to rest in his home state of Anambra.
But why is it that when in July there was a counter coup, you did not kill only Igbos?